We'll call to order this regular meeting of the Westford Peterson School Board. It is Monday, September 17th, 5:30 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Valerie Howe. Here. Kathy Ingram. Here. Joyce Iverson. Here. John Linder.
Here.
Dean Miro.
Here.
John Pettit.
Here.
Bonnie Princeton. Here. Abby Hager. Here.
Thank you, and welcome, Abby. Good to have you.
Board members, Abby is our student representative, and she's a senior this year, and so Abby, welcome aboard. Good to have your voice with us. So we look forward to you sharing with us throughout the school year.
Okay, could you all join me in a pledge of allegiance? Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next will be the adoption of the agenda. We have a couple of additions, which would be consent agenda number 6, September board bills, and then number 8, new business regarding a change to talk about procedures, parliamentary procedure issues. So you can add that. Do you have any questions or anything additional, Mr.
Nope, I have some updates for you from the superintendent, but they do not require board action.
We'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, I'll make a motion.
Adoption of the agenda, I'm sorry. Princeton, okay, is there a second?
Second by Howe.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public comments are heard at this time. We're limited to 5 minutes per person. Heidi Helverson, do you wish to address the board?
I do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Heidi Halverson. I've been doing childcare for 40 years in Westford. I'm addressing the school motto, always our best. Since 1993, the bus has been coming into my driveway morning and night because I'm a licensed childcare. I'm here to speak about my concerns with the bus now picking up and dropping off my childcare kids a block away from our street with no sidewalks. I would think child safety would be the first concern. Several years ago, we briefly tried this, and I had a 3rd grader get missed by inches from a car coming over that hill, as witnessed by another child care provider. This year, I have 2 3-year-olds, one is a special needs kid, 2 4-year-olds, and a 5-year-old, not kindergarten, getting off the afternoon bus. The first 8 days of school resulted in 4 incidences with these very young children. That is not a very good track record. On Tuesday, we had a 4 or 5-year-old preschool child who was not mine get off at the corner. His teacher specifically told the driver which child care he was supposed to get off, but he still got off at my stop. My Fillmore County licensor happened to be there at that time and was just shocked that these kids were walking up the street and told me that RP was the only school she knew of having issues with busing for child care kids. On Monday, a 3-year-old got off at the corner and decided to sit on the curb a short ways from the drop spot, and his 2 siblings could not get him to continue to my house. Luckily that day, my oldest son happened to be there, so he went to get him. On Wednesday, I sent my kindergartner to the pickup corner in the morning, where I placed a bench for her to sit, waiting safely away from the road. After several minutes, the neighbor told her that that bus had already been through, and I have confirmed with the neighbor and another child care that the bus was at least 5 minutes early that day. When the same bus came back after dropping his little kids at the school, he stopped, picked her up, and had to return to school. On Thursday, my school kids came up the street, but a 4-year-old girl was not with the group. I called her mom to confirm she was indeed supposed to come to my childcare. I then called the school, well, she called the bus company. I then got a call from the bus secretary telling me they had found her safely, and at 4 o'clock I needed to be at the corner to meet the bus. I told her I had 8 childcare kids, and that was just not possible. The bus then took this girl to school where mom had to leave work, pick her up, bring her to me, and then go back to work. Luckily, this mom worked in town. As I said, 4 incidents in 8 days is not very good odds. I'm telling you that these all would have been avoided if the bus would still come to my door, as it had done for over 20 years. I have a Lanesboro bus currently coming into my cul-de-sac every evening for drop-off. I asked the driver his opinion on my cul-de-sac, and he said, it's not ideal, but it's not bad. Years ago, when the contract went to the Ready bus line, the owner and 2 drivers came here before school started in August to assess my cul-de-sac and decided it was not a problem, and then they continued to drop and pick up in my driveway. Suggestions: I hear we have 17 vehicles registered at the RP schools. Use the van to deliver kids to the 4 childcares in the Brooklyn area. Change the route so a slightly shorter bus can deliver my kids to my door. Hire a different bus company and driver who's willing to cooperate to resolve this issue. Would you as parents and grandparents be comfortable with your 3- and 4-year-old kids in this situation? I do not consider dropping young children unsupervised into a street with no sidewalks to be following the school's motto, always our best, and I hope you don't either. Please, can we do something to take care of the safety of these little ones? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Albertson. Ms. Olson, do you wish to address the board?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
It's regarding the same issue as Heidi. I am also a licensed provider in Rushford. I send 6 kids a day on the bus. It is the same bus route. First day of school, the preschool boy from my daycare ended up at Heidi's. There was a sticker on his shirt that said his name and Chelsea Olson's daycare. He had not been, or had he not been dropped off up at the road, Heidi could have sent him back on the bus, and he could have been dropped off in the right location. Mind you, this was his first day at the district, his first day at my daycare, and his first day on the bus. That's not a very good first day of school. And why is our bus driver not checking, especially preschool kids on the first day, the sticker that's right on the front of their shirt? The second day I contacted Mike Bernard about the bus stopping at my house. It used to stop up the road. It would only have to go around the block a different way for 2 reasons. 1, I can see if there is a problem right away, and 2, hauling 6 to 10 kids up to the bus stop a day in inclement weather or during breakfast is not the easiest. I called him back that afternoon because he wanted time to think about it, and I was told my route could be changed and they would accommodate that to stop at the end of my driveway, but it will not accommodate or change routes for any other daycares. I was also told that if I told anybody that they were accommodating my daycare, that he would easily switch it right back to the old drop spot. Now, I did not tell Heidi that my route got switched. That did come from Mr. Ayler to her. And I don't put up with threats like that. Don't tell me, or don't tell somebody, or we're going to come back and make it more inconvenient for you. That doesn't work for me. That is not what's best for the kids. Day 8, I had no more problems in between then once the bus started coming to my house. Day 8, the bus stopped at my house after school. I noticed he was not leaving. And I watched until they leave to make sure all the kids get to where they need to safe. I went out to the bus and he was looking in some girl's backpack. And he goes, oh, I guess this one was supposed to get off at Heidi's. And I said, oh, okay, well, you got it figured out. Come to find out that night, that girl had to ride the whole bus route instead of turning around for 2 blocks. And then mom had to come and pick her up and bring her to daycare. As far as where the bus stops for Heidi's pickup, I have come up on that bus at the bottom of the knoll past the church. You cannot see it. When you come around that corner and you come up that knoll, you cannot see that it's there and stopped. And it's a good thing that my brakes didn't fault, because I would have hit that bus and it would not have been good. I don't know that there were many pickups on Main Street when we were at the old school. I myself am going to consider Prairie Street and Pine Meadows the new Main Street. I don't know that we should have a bunch of pickups right on that road at the beginning and end of school times. It's not very safe. Today, which I just found out about, there was another incident where 3 boys from this same bus route were on the wrong bus. So that makes it 5 incidents in 10 days, puts us at 50%. Now, I don't know if any of you are performing at 50% if you'd have a job for very long, but it's not very good odds. Lastly, and this doesn't resolve the bus route itself, it does involve the company. Somebody that I talked to about all this, they said they had issues when it came to signing their child up who required an EpiPen. The boy is 3. The driver said, well, he can, or the man at open house said, well, he can give that to himself, right? And he said, I don't know if my drivers should be required to do that. That's not right. So your driver is required to watch a kid die instead of shove an EpiPen in his leg. I guess to keep these issues in mind when you think about the bus service that you guys hired and the service or lack thereof that they are providing to the families of this district. Is this the best that we can do? Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll, Mr. Miller, are you addressing some of these issues?
I certainly can. I took the notes. I'll review those with Mike. I've been in constant contact with Heidi and Mike both, and trying to work out an issue here or a workable solution. So we'll continue working towards that as well.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our consent agenda, we have 6 different items. 6, the August 20th, 2018 regular monthly meeting minutes. We have a donation in the amount of $513.97 from the Rushford class of 1963 for a tree that was planted in honor of their class. August hand payables, wires, and payroll liabilities in the amount of $148,290.79. August payroll in the amount of $227,201.16. September board bills in the amount of $261,783.18. And then we have personnel. Item F, personnel. Hire Joyce Carpenter, long-term sub for Tracy Smith, speech and language. Alyssa Gullickson, long-term sub for Jenna Matheson, high school math. Michelle Erickson, musical choreographer. Ben Maliki, musical vocal director. Adam George, musical music director. Colin Schroeder, musical technical assistant. Diane Bogan, kids club supervisor. Shelby Miller, kids club supervisor. And Bailey Thompson, kids club supervisor. Anything, and then we also have a couple of bills that were added in our monthly bill that changed that a little bit. So, anything else, Mr. Taylor?
No?
Anybody have anything they want to take out of the consent agenda?
Just a question about R&R construction. Was that a little bit larger than what his
Yes.
quote was?
Yes. There is some additional work done there, and we have worked with Robin, and he still has a little bit more work left to do, so we're anticipating somewhere around just under $11,000 in change order for that quote. So again, we've been working with Robin on that, and he's been very cooperative, and as you know, there's been some additions that we worked with the state to make that compliant with the state, and so we're able to handle that price range as well.
Okay, anything else? Any other comments on the consent agenda?
I just have a question on the musical positions. Is that something new this year?
It is, yes.
Okay.
So the plan is every other year to do a musical, and last spring the board approved these positions, so that's why they're on the agenda this fall.
Just for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
So
anything
just
else?
on that note, what is the cost?
I'm sorry, Dean, what cost on the sidewalk?
No, on the cost of the addition of the musical
I think each one of those is coming in at $750. I can ask Laura to check on that quick.
We approved it. We asked me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not sure what we set the salary rate at.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
That's all.
Sure. Okay, you bear with us just a minute.
Oh, it's fine.
I think the additional cost was going to be $3,500 for all.
$3,500 additional cost for all those positions.
Okay,
So
thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. You're looking at, that would work out to about $750 per person.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for asking, Dean.
Okay, anything else on the consent agenda? Not, look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Iverson will make that motion.
Motion by Everson, is there a second?
Ingram will second.
Second by Ingram. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Moving on to old business, item 7, review and approve the protocols and guidelines for the trap shooting program. If there's something in our packet.
There is, we took the opportunity, myself and Mr. Vivador, to meet with two of our current volunteer coaches, Mr. Lind and Jamie Peeler, and as I indicated to you last month, they want to stay as an organization that is still recognized by the school district. That way they can secure funding streams to assist them. So we met and came up with the criteria and did a little blending of each of those, spelled each one of those out so that that information could be shared with the members of the trap shooting team. And so this is what we came up with. And the final thing, as I indicated to you last month, is in the event that we are fortunate enough to be in the black or in the black at the end of the season, if there is additional money left over and we're able to reimburse the coaches, we will do so. So I'll entertain any questions you have in regards to those guidelines that we put together.
I just have a comment. So we just approved $3,500 for the, the musical additions for, the part-time folks there. And again, I think it's only fair that we pay the coaches for the trap shooting program and not hope that we have enough funding left from the fundraising to pay them.
Any other comments on the item 7, the old business?
It looks like a good combination of a lot of the ideas that are out there.
I felt very good about the support that Mr. Lind and Mr. Peeler presented to us, and so feel very confident that we can make that work and that it will be spelled out. It's a little bit, takes away some of the gray areas that we dealt with in the past, and this way it's spelled out. So I appreciate their input, and Director Merrill, I appreciate your comment as well, and I look forward to your just support of approval of the protocols and guidelines for the trap shooting program.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else on old business?
Could I ask for the board to approve the guidelines and protocols for the trap shooting team, please?
Okay.
I have that in a motion.
Paul makes the motion.
Motion by Howe, is there a second?
Principal second.
Second by Princeton. Any further discussion on the protocols and guidelines for the trap shooting program? All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
Motion carried. Moving on to item 8 of new business. First is the approval of the certification of the proposed levy for the 2018 payable in 19. The recommendation is to set the levy at the maximum rate, which can be lowered, but it cannot be raised, my understanding.
That's correct, yes.
Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Taylor?
No, it's just an annual requirement that you as a board must approve, and again, we're basing that off of the recommendations from MDE as well as Ehlers and Associates. So their recommendation is to move forward with setting the levy at the maximum.
Do you have any questions on that? Not, we need a motion to approve.
Iverson will make that motion.
By Iverson, is there a second?
Personal second.
Any further discussion on the recommended certification of the levy? All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. Item 8B of new business, review the timeline for hiring a new superintendent. Some part of that is consideration given to hiring a firm to assist with the hiring process.
So it's on page 21 of your board packet or your board book. I was asked by Director Iverson here to put together a tentative timeline for the hiring of my replacement or your new superintendent, and so I have done that. So again, I'll just review that with you. I thought it would be important to have the mailers sent out by the 26th of November with the applications due in on January 11th of 2019 for you and the committee, whoever they are, to review the applicants, narrow it down to 3 to 5 finalists. February 4th through the 15th, conduct your interviews. February 28th, the committee finalizes their choices, make school and community visits if you feel the need. And March 4th, conduct a second interview if needed. And then March 11th, finalize the recommendation for the full board. And then March 18th, approve, at your March 18th regular board meeting, approve the hire. So, questions, concerns you have in regards to that issue before we move on to the committee, selection of the committee members?
Have you hired, has a firm been hired in the past? And I don't think so.
You were on the board back when we hired Mr. Taylor?
I wasn't.
And they
I was on the committee and they didn't.
yeah, they did not have a hiring firm. They, the board chair and Beth Lee, the director of community, had spearheaded that initiative.
Yeah, that might be a backup plan that might, maybe we ought to consider, and that you got to pay the fee, obviously, for doing that, so I'm not sure you get a better result. I think Bonnie mentioned you weren't real pleased with the way it's all been done.
Yeah, we used firms at my community college for, so to hire up positions, and we have not yet had anything I would call success, and it costs a lot of money. We've had better results when we did our own searches, so that's just one place, one example, so.
I would think, with the new school and, we would get some pretty good candidates, I would think.
I think the voters entrusted us to make those kind of decisions.
Does this timeline, I was curious, like where do you even start looking at timeline? Does MSBA have recommendations? Does this kind of follow like a typical superintendent search?
I can't answer that. I kind of based it off of what they did for my interviews, and they used generally anywhere from 2-week intervals there to, as you see, once you get into February and March, those are about 2-week intervals, except for the last week there, just to facilitate everyone's schedule and to be able to get all those meetings in. And again, this is tentative, it's just a suggestion, you're welcome to take a look at it and bring a recommendation back. I would say that at the October meeting, you want to finalize your timeline, so guess I could just ask you to reflect on it and see what you think of, going forward with that.
Another question. Have community members been involved in the process in the past?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's up on the selection committee, I mean, that's probably something that, yeah, we need to talk about.
Yeah,
because,
a couple people mentioned it to me.
Okay?
I think
So we can move on, and again, I'll ask you to reflect on the tentative timeline and suggested possibilities for selection committee. Again, I just based this off of that. One response there is the leadership team is made up of 5 individuals. School board is, all of you can be involved in that. When they conducted the interviews for me, they had a special meeting and they conducted the interviews during that special meeting. So each of the candidates was called in and that, you can facilitate that very easily. And then there are 6 teachers. I should back up. There are 4 teachers, a para, and a custodian, and then the district office staff. Now, you mentioned community members. One train of thought or one process on that is that you as board members represent the community, and they, as you indicated earlier here, they entrust you to make that decision. So that's one way to look at that. Again, I'm not opposed to, it's your committee, you tell me what you want to do, and we will finalize it that way. One of the other avenues I would ask you to consider is that you could have a selection committee and then an interview committee, so that you could involve all of your leadership team members. And if you wanted, for example, if you wanted to narrow that down to only 2 members of that leadership team to be as a member of the selection committee, then they can voice the concerns of not only themselves, but the other 3 representatives from the leadership team. So you could break that out so that everybody has an opportunity to be involved in the interview process, and then your selection committee would come together and take the information that they gathered from the interviews and then share that to the rest of the selection committee members. So lots of different avenues there for you to consider, and again, these are just possibilities. So
Are we deciding tonight?
no,
For
we're not.
this committee? Okay.
I could also see the leadership team being the representative of the office staff, admin assistant, and the social worker, and replace those 5 with community members or leaders. I think would balance the committee much better.
Okay.
I agree as well. I shared with Chair Linder earlier today. I don't know if you saw my email, but I just looking at it overall, it looks like a really big committee, and I was trying to look objectively, and I thought it looked a little heavy on probably on administration and non-teaching staff. And so maybe, I guess what Mr. Pettit said, we go along with that for the 5 district office staff and administrative assistant, social worker. You're saying that could be 5 committee members.
Okay, then I'll ask you as board members then to reflect on how you're going to go about conducting your selection for those community members. So, again, you don't have to share that tonight, but that would be information that you'd want to be able to get out to your community members and make them aware that that opportunity is available to community members. So can we back up? Can we start at the leadership team? You're inclined to think that that should be 2 to 3 members?
Yeah.
So,
The 2 principals.
Yeah, I would think, I'd rather than all 5, I think they could be represented by 2 or 3, and for sure at least one principal, maybe both. And I'm not,
I would just ask the board, again, I don't have any skin in the game, but I will tell you this, that all of those members of the leadership team work closely with the superintendent, and they would want to have at least the opportunity to be involved in the interviews. So I'll ask you to reflect on that.
I wouldn't be necessarily willing to say no district office staff, because I think maybe of the three, maybe one representative there too.
Again, I'll say to you that all three of those individuals work closely with the superintendent, and they would like to know that they have a voice in who they're choosing to work with.
I don't think, I don't think anyone doubts that. But I'm trying to look at the big picture and that, think of our audience as being the whole district and how the visual here, I mean, I think the citizen involvement is really important.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to anything that you're suggesting here this evening, so please understand, I'm quite open.
And you could make an argument, all of the teachers also will have to work with the superintendent, but we're only four, from the whole group. So, I think there's such a, you can represent an area without having the entire area there, I think.
And I think your point is well taken, that you get a group that's too large, I think it's a little bit unwieldy too, and you're going to have just logistics of getting it all together, but you already were looking at more than 20 people, without the citizens involvement, so.
And except for the citizens, I don't think we choose who these people are. I mean, I would say each group, the office staff could decide who's going to represent us. So that way they have a channel, they'll feel like they're represented without all. Because the other thing is, it's a huge commitment. The search committees I've served on, you can't believe the time that you spend on it. So I would like the people serving on it to want to be doing it, not just because you're in this position, you must serve on this. But I appreciate, Mr. Aguilar, what you're saying. Yes, they all work with the superintendent, but I just think there are some other considerations in making the committee work with that.
We need to probably firm this up by the October meeting. So, we need to reflect on this over the next couple of weeks.
I'll be happy to garner some opinions for you and share those with you at the next board meeting as well.
I think having an odd number is usually better.
Good point.
Yeah, it is, it's recommended that way. I will try to get, I tried to get the breakdown of what it was when I interviewed 11 years ago, and I was not able to get that information to you, so I'll reach out again and try to get you the breakdown of what they used in the past. I do know that they did come and do community interviews. Beth Lee and John Netke both came to my school district, and as well as to the 4 communities that I made up our school district, and they did interview with people there and met with people. So I think that's a strong component that you want to consider doing as well.
Okay, anything else on that hiring timeline?
I want to make one more comment,
Sure.
and I make sure I'm seeing this right, especially for the people who've been on the board before. At the board representing the citizens, we are really the hiring body here, right? I mean, we don't hire teachers necessarily or whatever, but we are the hiring body, so I guess I feel like we have a pretty huge responsibility here. We want to think carefully about how we proceed and how to make sure that we're on board with how we decide to form the committee.
Very good.
I'd be happy, Caledonia just went through the process, I'll be happy to reach out to them and find out what they had on their committees, and I know some other school districts as well recently, so I'll be happy to get some recommendations for you from the neighboring school districts.
Okay, anything else on the timeline or the committee process? Any thoughts? Okay, next month, you've got.
So can we go to B1, considering hiring a firm? Is there any interest on the board?
Do you know districts that have done that?
I do. Caledonia hired a gentleman that contacted Chair Linder. His organization is run by Charlie Kite, and the feedback we got from Caledonia is that they wouldn't go to that route again. There are a couple of area superintendents that also serve in that capacity, and they're affiliated through Winona State University, and they're also working with Southeast Service Cooperative. So these are two retired superintendents, and they would come in and take you through the process step by step and make sure that everything's in place, and their maximum fee would be $5,000 to do that. So I can vouch for both those individuals. I know them quite well, and they're highly regarded and do an exceptional job. So not advocating for it, but they are available if you have an interest.
Go ahead, Pete.
I think with today's technology and all the social media, I really don't think we need to hire a firm to assist us. I'm comfortable. They'll find us.
I think you're right. I think, you know, we can always, that can always be a backup plan if it doesn't go well to start with, but we can certainly.
I can support what Director Muro said. I've been, since word got out, I've had other superintendents contact me personally, and I think there is a very strong interest out there, and so I am very confident that you will have a good pool of applicants to choose from.
Bonnie mentioned the possibility of MSBA having some guidelines or some suggestions, so you can look into that.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't the first time somebody's hired a superintendent.
Right. I guess I agree that we have good people.
Okay.
I think this is one of the most important decisions we will make this year.
Well, I know there's a section in the handbook on how to hire a superintendent.
It's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah.
Anything else on the hiring process? You need to give that some thought over the next month, and we'll firm that up.
I'd just like to say it's going to be a challenge to replace this gentleman.
Here, here.
Okay, moving on to item 8C, authorize Superintendent Ayler to secure proposals for snow removal, which, you know, I guess that's in the future, so.
Yes, I'd like to be proactive with that. Wasn't feeling good about what happened last year, so this year, by encouragement from you as a board, and just making sure that we move forward and get that out there and secure those quotes and bring those to you at the October meeting, so that in the event we have a snowfall in November, we're ready to roll. So, with your permission, I'll go ahead and secure those.
Do we need a motion for that?
I think so, we should have a motion now.
I'll make that motion. And I'll
Second
second
by
it.
Motion by Everson, second by Miro. All those in favor of,
We have just one discussion.
sure,
Just one
absolutely.
comment.
Yeah.
My only comment is that if, by my count, I think in the last 6 months, we've had to have 2 special meetings because we had given Mr. Ayler the permission to go out and seek bids on something, and then when he came back with them, there was, maybe a board member or two who didn't like the way he did it, so then we had to go back and do it over. So I would just like to make sure we give him clear instructions if anybody has a preference or something specific that they do or don't want to do. Let's get that out now, so we don't have to have a
Well,
special
and
meeting.
thank you for asking for clarity on that. We will advertise it in our local papers, and I know of a couple of entities that expressed an interest last year, so I'll reach out to them, making sure that they're aware that we're seeking quotes on that. So I will do my due diligence, but thank you, I appreciate that clarity as well. So if it's advertised in the local papers, by that I mean the Fillmore County Journal and the Tri-County Record, and then we will put it on our website as well, and I will reach out to the entities that I know of that expressed an interest last year as well.
Well, that's all right, everybody on the board. So we don't come back, okay.
If you know of somebody that has expressed an interest, please share that name with me, and I'll be happy to reach out to them as well.
Okay, anything else? Any other discussions on the snow removal proposals? We have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item 8D of new business, approve the 1819 agreement with Hiawatha Valley Mental Health. There is a proposed agreement in our packet.
Page 22 in your packet, again, this is an annual thing, as you know, mental health requirements, and we've been very blessed to have a working agreement with Hiawatha Valley Mental Health, and we're very pleased with the services. Unique thing about their services is that they're year-round, so when summer comes, they still make the initiatives to stay in contact with those children that they've been working with, and there's ongoing services, and it works very well for us. So again, we're very blessed and very pleased with the services that we receive from Hiawatha Valley Mental Health.
Just a question. Now, is this the same group or subgroup of the Education Association?
No, it's a separate entity.
Separate.
Yeah. I know that's confusing, because there's Hiawatha Valley Special Ed District, yeah, and this is Hiawatha Valley Mental Health. We would have thought they could have come different names, but no, thank you for asking that. It is a separate.
I think you're right that we are blessed to be able to work with them. This is really important. And if we're looking for a motion to renew it, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Princeton to approve.
Second by Howe.
Second by Howe. Any further discussion on the Hiawatha Valley Mental Health contract? All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on, we have the addition to the agenda, item 8E, review, discuss procedures in regards to making a motion and discussing and voting on agenda items. I think, you know, as part of the parliamentary procedure, and my personal view is that there should be, you should be able to make discussion at any point, whether prior to or after the motion is made or the second. So does anybody want to ask anything to add? I think that falls in line with what the procedures are. I don't think there's a whole lot of issue with that. But anybody want to add anything to that?
I'll just add that I asked Chairman Linder to just mention this because at the last meeting there was just a little bit of confusion when we were making motions kind of quickly in seconds and then wanted to discuss, and then there was a question, can we still discuss after the second? And my understanding of parliamentary procedure is that that's when the formal discussion does take place, is after the second. So just wanted to make sure I was not out of line.
Yeah, no, that's,
after the second.
and there can be discussion, informal discussion prior to the
Yes,
motion, or,
absolutely.
you know.
But you don't cut it off at the
Right,
second.
right.
And, yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else have any comments on procedure? Okay, moving on to 8F, reports. Mr. Taylor, you're...
Sure, page 26 is where my report starts. Hopefully that's reflected in your board packet as well, but just again, congratulations to our students, our parents, our staff. We've had a great start to the school year, despite what we heard previously here in regards to transportation. But I'm very grateful and thankful to everyone's contributions for the smooth transition. Congratulations to our fall sports teams. We're off to a very good start. Our football team, cross-country members and teams have been very competitive, along with our volleyball teams. And so been very active. Our fall dance performed last Friday night at the football game, and they have been working with a group called the Young Rockers through Community Ed, and great attendance for that. So just very pleased, and I commend our coaches for the time and effort they have put in this summer. Obviously, that's paid dividends for them because, again, we're off to a very successful beginning to our competitions this fall. Condolences and sympathies. I reached out to the Wookamai family on the death of Carol. Tim has been an active bus driver here in our district for many, many years. Carol really began her work experience through Rushford and the Rushford Pearson Schools, so I did extend condolences and sympathies on behalf of the district. And then Mrs. Smith, our social worker, her mother passed away. And again, I've extended condolences and sympathies on behalf of our staff in the school district. Update on the progress on the athletic fields. Obviously, the dry conditions have provided some steady progress on the field. Winona Nursery has completed all the seeding. We'll be drilling the well this week. And again, I'm very appreciative of their attention to details. I hope that you've observed just how nice everything is looking. So again, very pleased with that progress. Same with the sidewalk, and again, very pleased with working with R&R Construction, the City of Rushford, and MnDOT. Unfortunately, the installation of the lights has taken a little longer than I'd like, and so that's on target to be completed this week. But again, I hope that community members have shared their positive comments with you as much as they shared them with me. It's been very well received, and very pleased to add that as an addition to our school grounds. So, middle school building, the building sites and the elementary. Again, we're working on with our legal counsel for the middle school, working to get that completed here by the end of September. And then we still have the redevelopment committee that is scheduled to meet this Wednesday to determine the course of action on the elementary high school building. The MREA regional meeting that was held on Tuesday, September 11th at the Lanesboro Public School. Val Howell attended the meeting with me, the regional meeting, and the meeting centered around the development of MREA's legislative initiatives and platforms for the upcoming legislative session. And it was a very positive and productive meeting. Val, anything you want to add to that?
Just a discussion on shortage of teachers, how we're going to handle that, the legislation, get more teachers in. I'm trying to think now.
Well, they talked about cross-subsidy for special ed and making sure that what they really tried to do is narrow it down to 5 major items.
Yeah.
And they asked us, those of us in attendance, to give them some feedback, and it was pretty unanimous that anytime it came to funding, that they prefer that the funding be attached to the general fund so that everyone can benefit from it instead of just one section of students. So again, very pleased with the work that they've done, and they're instrumental in being our advocates at the Capitol. So I think they do an outstanding job for us. Enrollment data, I've attached the sheet here with our current enrollment data, and we're pleased to announce that we are up by approximately 46 students this year, so, and that's reflected in this chart as well. Negotiations with our support staff, we're continuing to work through that, and we have a meeting coming up, hopefully to iron out the last language issues and then to finalize the salaries, and that's Wednesday, September 26th. Reminder for board members that we'd ask you to be in attendance if you could on Monday, October 1st. That's the informational meeting on the operating referendum that will take place here. It's at 6:30 p.m. It's in the auditorium. We will continue to get information out to all of our newspapers as well as on our website, our Friday Flow folders, and any way that we can get information out to our residents. So
Just if there's more than 3 board members there, we will have to call it a meeting.
I'm not sure if it's a public meeting that you need to.
I think so.
You just,
Yeah, if we have, if there's more than 3 board members, we'll have to call a special meeting for that.
well, maybe you want to choose 3 of you to be in attendance. Maybe you want to assign a task here for 3 of you to attend that meeting. That would be a good way to resolve it. to be assured of.
Or to call it a special meeting of the board. I mean, I think it'd be nice if we were all there.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it-
agree.
If possible.
if possible, I think we should all be there, and if, you know, if you can make it, but it's not that difficult to call a special meeting, I mean, we just
What
have.
happens if we all go to the same sporting or musical event?
Don't sit together.
We just don't sit together.
Don't talk to each
Would this be
other.
similar or not? Is it put on?
No, that's like going to the same church or something, I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of an informal thing.
It's still,
But
it's.
this is directly related to school business.
You just don't sit together.
You could easily come in here, step in here and open the meeting up and then
Sure.
say, we're going to go to the auditorium for the
Yeah.
forum and then
And we
come
have
back
to
in here
close it,
and
yeah.
close the meeting.
Yeah.
So that's doable. So, and again, then Monday, October 15th is the monthly board meeting. So I'll entertain any questions you have in regards to that. Oh,
I have a couple of additions.
Yep, I have a couple of additions, so let me, on October 9th, HVET is hosting a meeting here to address their facilities, and they've asked that 3 board members from each of the 13 school districts be in attendance at that meeting. So I'd ask you to check your calendar, and let me know if you're able to attend. Again, that's Tuesday, October 9th, it's from 8:30 to noon, and it will be here in the forum room. Thank you for reminding me of the additions. And then we have moved forward with the installation of the new banners. I invite you to step over after the meeting this evening. We'll turn the lights on in the gymnasium so that you can see them. They're very well done. As with anything, there's still some questions or concerns about how we're recognizing those teams that placed in the state tournament, because the banners do not reflect that unless they were state champions. So, working through that with Mr. Beaverdorf at the present time. Extend my congratulations to the FFA Livestock Judging Team. They competed last week at the National Burro Show in Austin, Minnesota. And Hans Lind was our top placement winner and 10th overall. And so it was a good experience for our students, and I'm sure they learned some valuable things from that. And then our congratulations to Craig Collinson, our one of our former teachers and FFA advisor. He was awarded the Minnesota FFA Frederick Award for 2018 at this year's state fair. The Dave Frederick Award is given to those demonstrating a lifetime of service to FFA and its alumni. So I extended in a personal conversation with Mr. Collinson on behalf of the district, but we'll put it in writing as well. But very happy to see that he is being recognized for his years of service.
Nice article in the paper.
There was, yes.
Any questions for Mr. Ayler on his report?
I have a quick comment and a question. First of all, the enrollment data, unless I'm reading it wrong, everybody in this room, you know, any other differences aside, should feel really good about the fact we have the highest enrollment in the last 10 years. You know, that's a positive sign for the whole district.
I think it'll get better too.
Yeah. And then also, for the October 1st informational meeting, that's going to be before our next board meeting. So who's presenting the information? And as a board, what will we do? Will we just, I don't want to present anything.
No, you're
We'll
not
just sit
required
there
yet.
and- Okay.
The presentation will be done by Ayers and Associates
Okay.
and myself. So, but thank you for asking.
So it would be appropriate to make a motion to have that, designate that day as a special meeting.
Good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion by Iverson to make the 1st of October a special board meeting on our referendum levy. Is there a second?
Yep, principal second.
Second, Princeton. Any discussion on that issue? All those in favor of making that a special meeting on October 1st, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to community ed report. Ms. Foster is not here.
No, I'll be happy to cover that for you quickly, so. Bear with me for just a minute. 30. She is reviewing the youth enrichment and recreation activities. I'm not going to read through all of those, but I invite you to please do so. Obviously, flag football, tackle football, the little rockers that I already mentioned to you, and then we have junior spikers going on. So all of those are just ways to involve our younger students in a variety of activities, so very pleased with that. Adult enrichment and recreation, again, she's outlining some of the partnerships that she's formed here and some of the fall trips that they will have going on. And obviously, one of the classes that's very popular is the 55 plus driving classes, and so we're happy to be able to host those here as well as the exercise, coming up as well. And Kids Club highlights, average in the morning, we have 11 students in the morning and we have 29 in the afternoon. So, and it is reflective of the number of staff that we hired this evening to support that program. The Little B preschool, we have 73 students enrolled this year. Last year's enrollments were at 68. We're very pleased again to share with the board that Johnson Rolling Acres is generously agreeing to purchase the milk for our preschool program. So on behalf of the board, I'll extend a thank and appreciation to them for that donation and their generosity. Early childhood and family education, Courtney Kirkby, one of our teachers, and Allison Chose, another teacher, will be teaching the ECFE classes this year. Allison will be teaching the Monday evenings and Courtney will be teaching the Friday mornings. So we're very appreciative of Courtney and Allison stepping up with that. And then the early childhood screening is scheduled for Friday, November 2nd. And she's included to you some updates on the playground updates. So she's very pleased with the installation of the mulch on the main playground out on the east side of the school here. And then they wrote a grant through the PI organization for what is called the Rock Box. And please trust me that that is a very popular area in the mornings with our children. So my thanks to the student volunteers that we had work on that this summer, Dylan Buckland, Lane Waldo, and Luke O'Hara. So it's a very nice addition to the playground.
Any questions on the community ed report?
A lot going on.
Always, yeah.
Okay, moving on to elementary school, Mrs. Shepherd.
Great, thank you. Just starting right at the top of my report, Trojan Pride, again, talking to the students about being respectful, responsible, and safe. Last week, we already recognized many students. Our new staff is excited that we have Trojan Gold to hand out, along with the staff that's been here before, but just recognizing when our students are doing a nice job in classes outside of recess, in the commons, having lunch, and you can, the list right there was recognized, and it's just nice. We do that outside of recess, so we can have everybody kind of cheering and loud and take care of it outside, and everybody comes in. But we have a Trojan cart then that goes with, and the students get to pick the little prize they want. We have books this year we've added in. We've had some T-shirts donated. We have water. We have our little water jug kind of things, pencils, and we also had some school supplies, little like pencil bags and stuff like that. So we're adding those. So we just have a new array of gifts for the kids to pick when their name is chosen. We are finishing up our Fast Bridge, which is a benchmark test for all of our students. It's a nice way to recognize students that might need a little extra help. We'll be having those meetings shortly to get the students in the programs that they need for the extra support. Kindergarten class has already taken their first field trip here on October 3rd to Preston Apple and Berry Farm, and then they go play at the park. And they moved it up this year, and I noticed that, and I said, we didn't have many apples to choose from last year, so it's a good idea to move it up, and they're excited to go on that class trip already coming up. Our open house for elementary is always amazing. So many people attend and families are happy and smiling and bringing school supplies, and it's always such a fast whirlwind at the elementary level for sure. This week we have pictures tomorrow and Wednesday, and then Thursday we have Be a Nice Kid program coming in. He's going to be here for 2 days. Elementary is going to be Thursday. Mr. Tim talked a little bit about that for the middle school, high school too. So we'll have the entire K-5 in the auditorium at 8:30 to hear his message, and we're breaking it down, and we'll have the 5th grade for about 30 minutes to talk with him, listen to him, his message of just stepping up. Be the nice kid. And so I'm really excited about this. I know probably everybody is. We sent home to parents. He will be having an evening program as well coming up this week. And then the 4th grade will, and then we'll be going, the younger grades will be going class by class. So I'll be taking him around all day Thursday to meet with all the little kids. So it's a very nice opportunity. Again, we have our Hearing and Vision, which I hear every year, parents excited that we offer that at school and do that program. So it's just a nice thing our school offers. So the ADSIS, which is a very important program here, there will be after the MBE on the 25th of September. A couple are going, a couple are staying this year. So like we said, lots happening in elementary as well. So questions?
Questions for Mr. Shepherd? Okay, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Tim, high school and middle school report.
My name is Linder. As you guys see at the top there, MCA data started, so MCA tests that were taken last spring, we have district level results, elementary, middle school and high school versus the state average and our averages. Our students are just working on, again, that being a good human beings that Mr. Thompson's saying, and that kind of goes nicely with the be the nice kid. And I just want to thank Jenny Helgamo and Kelly Smith for instrumental in getting Brian to come here later this week. And like Mr. Shepherd said, he'll be here Thursday for elementary, Thursday night for parents, and then Friday for middle school, high school. So last year when they saw and brought it to our attention as administrators, it was kind of a great way to build on that message and continue to flow with that stuff. Student councils planning homecoming. We have the activities there listed and little tweaks to some of them, but it's just a fun-filled week coming up next week for homecoming and enjoyment of everybody. We've got dress-up days, we've got breakout sessions on Friday, we've got the dance for the middle schools actually got moved up from October 6th to that Friday. Our students have talked with the police department, fire department, having a bonfire after the game, so there's lots of fun activities going on for our students that day. The royalty was announced today. Both students voted on it last week. Our king candidates are Ian Brown, Landon Scullett, Nolan Mueller, and Dominic Jenkins. And then our queen candidates are Jalissa Trejo, Abby Malone, Peyton Hoynes, and Jalen Kennedy. So they'll kind of be around the building next week too. They're going to the elementary, lunch, do some stuff like that. With our coronation will be next Monday, the 24th, in the gym, or in the auditorium, during the day. So again, just a fun-filled week of school spirit. Last year we started the painting of Trojan heads in driveways and yards, and that was well received. And then also our student councils led any businesses that wanted downtown. They kind of spirited them up with green and gold. So just a way to kind of make the whole town about the school. Again, it's kind of a nice start to the year. So that's kind of a biggie that we have coming up. And other than that, at the bottom there's some other dates of other fun stuff too. So I'll entertain any questions if you guys have any too.
Any comments, questions for Mr. Tim?
Just one. I was looking at the scores for RP versus the state and noticed that we're above the state level except for 7th and 8th. Is that kind of typical for that age group? Or?
Yep, that 7th grade class has been historically low as they've kind of worked their way through. I think last year there were board members that said it was 6th grade low, and they have increased each year. So we kind of look closely at that. So they're getting closer to the state average, which is nice. That 8th grade class, it was, I don't even know how to say it, but they've been good. But there was, when we looked at the scores, we had some kids that were way up here and then some down here, and there wasn't much of a middle group. So and that kind of goes with when we talked about that school within a school, approving that back in March or April. There's some of those students that struggled on the MCAs that are in that class, and there are, just the feedback we've got after 2 weeks of that, there's 2 kids in there that, and granted it's only 2 weeks into school, are passing every class that throughout middle school, there are 2 freshmen that had never passed every class, and talking to them, they're like, I'm not on the F list, Mr. Tim, for the first time since I've been in like elementary school. So we're doing some positive things with them, kind of using this data a little bit to help us with that too.
Anything else, Mr. Tim? Let's do Mr. Beaverdorf's activities.
Mr. Tim is,
Perfect.
he's been volunteered.
You guys see there, he talks about the annual meeting, so once a year, the Three Rivers Conference and then Region 1A, which we're a part of, have their annual meeting in Stewartville. It's just a chance for pretty much anything associated with the State High School League from our area. Coaches, advisors, all get together and just kind of talk through. Fall activities, Mr. Ayler kind of announced all the fall activities that we have and the starts that they're off to and just the number of students that are out. The play, as Mr. Musselman said, we kind of talked to play a little bit. He had 77 students, K-12, audition for the musical, which was good. I think he cast in the mid-40s, mid to upper 40s he cast. So it'll be a fun-filled challenge for him to put on that play, but they're looking forward to that. And then Mr. Beaverdorf talks about homecoming too, and just trying with that homecoming stuff of having a homecoming volleyball game one night, where we will honor the royalty, the homecoming football game, of course. We also have a bowling night for the kids, and there's tacos one night at one of the volleyball games too. So just trying as much as we can to incorporate more and more in the school and around the school for homecoming week, so it's not just the football game on Friday. So we're really trying to improve, and especially being in one building, to make it a pre-K or a kindergarten through 12th grade new community event.
Any questions on the activity director, the athletic director, activities director? Okay, thank you, Mr. Tim.
Thanks, John. Is bringing closure. I want to make sure that Val has already asked this, but each of you have a little propaganda to take home with you this evening. The first one is a report from MREA, and kind of outlining what they've done in the past. So I invite you to look through that. And then the second one is our school district was featured in a brochure that was put out by ATS&R, so I invite you to take a look at that as well.
All right, moving on to item 9. We have a special board meeting on the 1st of October, right here at 6:30, which will then move to the auditorium. And then we have our regular board meeting here on the 15th of October at 5:30. We will entertain a motion to adjourn. Person?
I will second it.
Second by Ingram. Any discussion? All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned.